push, and they had multiple control wards in the river. So since he was so missing, SKT would actually feel a little bit scared about going into blindly check, and really just a good read by Karsa to get the first Inferno Drake.
Clid still missing that ultimate there on the Gragas as well, meaning if they were to try to force something in the bottom lane, they wouldn't have that tool available to use. Karsa also hanging out down here, just waiting to see if SKT are going to try to make some kind of a move. Twisted Fate ulti coming out now. RNG trying to get themselves away. They could be in some trouble, but now it's going to be Faker. He's first blooded, and a hook has found a second. Clid's going to be going down here, but it looks like the TP into the back from Khan may be the saving grace. Longshing has extended himself far into the SKT lines, and he too will now retreat. Paddles are nearly finding the kill onto Teddy. Khan getting himself away. Uzi goes into the Thunderstorm, keeping himself alive. Not at the end of the day. It's a 1-for-1. Xiaohu going to be grabbing the kill onto Effort. And
this isn't done yet.
Is not yet over. Explosive cast comes down. Khan's kept alive. Finally falling to Xiaohu, but yet another 1-for-1.
It is rare that you see SKT force in such a fashion. Faker just putting his face in front of all of RNG, instantly dies when he goes in there, but that sets the wheels in motion for a chaotic fight.
Beautifully played initially by SKT because they know they have the numbers advantage. What they're not expecting is Karsa to just be lying in wait. RNG like to protect and play around their bot lane. The Longing teleport was immediate. At this point, you're thinking, okay, pretty good start to the fight for RNG, but then things start to turn.
And the surprising thing to me, Vedius, was that the TF ultimate reveals everyone, so he knew that Karsa was there. And then as this continues, watch Uzi, knows he's going to take a turret shot, and the hook finds him at the very end of the...
And then you think that the fight is over, Jet. You think that this is where things are done. But then a beautiful casket from Clid. At this point, again, you're thinking, okay, the team fight is over, but it's Karsa that's drawing the tower aggro that gives enough time for Longjing and Xiaohu to actually dish the damage and make it a 3-for-3 at the end of the day.
And after chaotic fights like that, where it is 3-for-3, it's very important to take stock about where the gold went. So 2 kills actually went to Khan in the top lane, and 2 kills went to Xiaohu Zoe in the mid lane. So the faster he hits his item spikes, the more threatening his Fog of War fights become, and you can see he's going to look to try and punish Faker with his gold advantage.
Bottom side, Mingo get another hook! And that one's going to be a gray screen for Effort. Good aim from Ming.
And so while the kills did go onto Xiaohu in the mid lane, all of the summoner spells were gone for the bot lane of SKT, which means the moment Ming was able to land a hook, they were able to find a kill. RNG now lead the kill score. Xiaohu gets a bit more poke down onto Fake.
Faker sitting at 1/3 HP here in this mid lane. Xiaohu and Karsa on the prowl through the enemy jungle. Xiaohu backing back up towards the river, but Karsa not afraid to move forward here, sitting on the control ward, taking that control over this area with the vision, providing even more darkness for SKT to have to double check as they rotate.
And you can see RNG heavily trying to play around this bottom side as Mordekaiser ends up using his ult in the top lane. That's mostly trading. It's all about using that mid lane gold lead to punish and break this bottom lane. Here comes RNG.
Redemption going to be used there just to try to keep SKT even further back. Sleepy Trouble Bubble not going to find the mark, just falls barely short. Minion wave cleared out in time to not allow RNG to take the turret just yet.
And now, instead of actually sending 4 people bottom lane to match and just continuing battle at their lose, Faker ends up using his teleport mid and trying to push forward as aggressively as possible to say, okay, you take bot, we'll take mid. And then, as the Lee Sin matches, they go in bot.
Beautiful pickoff.
And there we go. Shut down onto Uzi as the plays are going to continue. Ming now in some trouble. They can't find even a single kill. And they lose to SKT. Make the play.
I actually love what Faker and SKT did there. It looked like the bottom lane was going to be hopeless. It looked like they had been poked down to 1 plate. But once Faker used his teleport mid, RNG felt compelled to match, and that's the moment that SKT strike bottom lane. So there is an ebb and flow to these lanes in the way you can apply pressure, and SKT found the exact window where bot was vulnerable.
And I love that you say that, Jack, because it is these exact windows that SKT showed against yesterday versus Fnatic that they're able to find these plays. And as you say it, Xiaohu's going back to base. Karsa is in the mid lane. This allows Twisted Fate to be able to teleport to the bot lane with his ultimate. Ming and Uzi were slightly overextended, and that was all that SKT needed. The lead in the gold right now because of the Twisted Fate passive and Kleptomancy, but this game is still very even.
Second Infernal is so big here.
Xiaohu's gonna get himself grabbed. Glen's gonna be keeping him safe, but effort is immediately deleted yet again. Ming has got his number this game.
You're seeing the combo of the Zoe and the Blitzcrank. If either one of their skill shots land, it's going to be a guaranteed pick for RNG. They find the shutdown onto effort, and now Uzi's eyes are set on this bot lane tower. This should be the first structure of the game going in favor of RNG.
And it's still in time to get the extra plate money with it too. And more importantly, this will be solo gold on to Uzi, the man that RNG just loves to play around. More money in his pocket just means more and more chances for them to walk out with a win here as Karsa's on to that second Infernal.
Second Infernal is so important for RNG as well. You can see that their comp does scale quite well with Desire. Oh, Xiaohu!
Got him.
Who nearly got Faker, who flashes over the
I think he's got him.
wall.
Oh,
He's
got him now.
The stopwatch.
Oh!
He walks away from the trouble bubble, and Faker is kept alive, and Xiaohu is baited into a death mid lane.
Oh, oh no. Xiaohu is just so unlucky when it comes to finding these 1v1 kills. Yesterday against Demonte, today against Faker. It was so close, but a great flash from Faker. We all thought, like, listen, why are you wasting your flash? He's gonna die, but he had the stopwatch, he survives, and then they come in for the punish.
To think ahead on that play, obviously, you could make the argument that Xiaohu outplayed him to make him burn his flash and his stopwatch.
Yes.
But almost any other player, you'll flame them for burning flash or you'll flame them for burning stopwatch in what looked like a sure death situation. But then I'll have to go back and check whether or not Xiaohu misfired his bubble or whether or not he just couldn't find the range over the wall, because that is actually one of the most miraculous escapes I've seen.
Very impressively done by Faker. Tragedy striking for RNG. Uzi gonna steal away that chicken camp there to at least grab a little bit more money for himself. Currently leading this game in terms of farm. Let's take another look at the mid lane play.
So great play by Xiaohu there to get the ignite onto Faker. He flashes over the wall. You'd think that Xiaohu's Q would have been off cooldown, but he just throws the bubble. Just short.
Just a little too short, yeah. And now he's
dead.
up a creek without a paddle, I believe is the expression.
That would be the expression, sir.
And then he got shot by a tank. In any case, SKT very even right now with RNG. What you have to remember is the double Infernal does give a lot of extra damage over to the side of RNG. And that's going to set us up nicely for a lot more future engages between these two teams.
Yeah, I'd actually make the argument that RNG is up by a decent amount because of the double Infernal and a third Infernal spawning in 3 minutes, and the fact that SKT just doesn't have bot control and they are unable to wrestle it away from RNG, who's still sitting with control wards down in that jungle. So RNG, with this triple Infernal as the first 3 Drakes, has got to be loving it. A team that loves to control bot side for the first 20 minutes, if they can get triple Infernal off of that, they're golden.
And notice how both teams are trading sides of the map right now. In the bot half, you've got all this vision being invested in favor of RNG. Meanwhile, on the top side, it's all going in favor of SKT. And while we did see that last replay, ooh, it looks like we're getting a fight.
Fake's going in underneath the turret. He'll be soaking the aggro. Faker's got no stopwatch anymore, and that's another kill for RNG.
And RNG made the play before I could set it up. Their eyes were set towards this bot tower. SKT do have the Rift Herald, so they can try and answer by utilizing it mid, but RNG are going to be able to get this tower, reset, and get back out onto the map.
Yeah, and RNG is doing proactive plays on their side of the map, whereas SKT, it doesn't quite look like they are. If they get this play, though, it's big.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
There we go.
Sure. That took the words right out of my mouth. You know what SKT needs to do? Something that's not bot lane. How about one-shotting Uzi?
Big misplay there from Uzi as well, though. He did have the heal. His flash only just came up, but normally instant reaction speeds are what you come to expect from Uzi. He didn't use his ultimate in time, and he ends up getting punished. SKT still holding on to the Rift Herald means they can actually path up towards top and use that, and we'll get a look back at this pick onto Uzi. Was not expecting that engage from Clid. Ends up immediately getting blocked.
Yeah, oftentimes, Gragas, he was in range to body slam, right? He could have just forced the ultimate from Uzi with a normal body slam, but he basically instantly body slam flashed from short range, which did not give Uzi time to react. And now, Rift Herald gets used 1 minute before the Drake. This is where SKT now needs to try and wrestle the control of the bottom side back, because anything is possible. But I feel like if RNG gets triple Infernal here, they probably win the game. The first Infernal is more valuable than the second and third in terms of how many stats it gives you. So SKT really need to get this one to be able to match RNG in the mid and late game.
SKT are making it a priority to get control over this bottom side river right now. You can see plenty of wards being set down, control wards, vision wards, everything but the kitchen sink being thrown into this river to try to keep RNG away and give them the jump on any fight that might pop up.
And I'm looking at Effort and Ming, because every time Effort has gone for a pick, Ming has killed him. The lockdown on that Q has been after Dicey goes for pick, he loses half his health.
It's not even hard to kill him at this point. 20%, 30% HP remaining is not where you want to be up against a Zoe and a Lee Sin and all these champions that it's so easy to just burst you down. Teddy will be defending here in the mid lane. RNG does have control over mid right now. They'll shove that wave up and chase into the river after SKT.
Now, the big point of contention is this Infernal, but SKT have control over the bot side. RNG don't care. They forced through mid to gain priority, and now they're the ones starting it off. Twisted Fate is on his way. We'll have the ultimate. Pops it. Here we go.
For the steal.
Ulti is out. He's stolen by SKT, but now where is the fight going to go? Efforts there on the front line. Karsa able to find the kick onto Khan into the rest of RNG. Faker's going to be in there on the backside as well. Uzi finding the damage in onto Khan. RNG still going to be kept alive, but the health bars are critically low. Faker's after Uzi, but he won't be able to find him just yet. Faker's stumbling away, but he's the only man left standing. Karsa and Longxing are after him. Sonic Wave will not find the mark, but the pursuit continues. Karsa is stopped in his tracks, but Longxing continues the chase. The claw will not find the mark, and Faker hands him a card and walks away.
RNG will not find the ace, but they still found 4 kills onto SKT. They will not secure the third Infernal, but what a close fight. Remember, that with SKT's comp, it is a lot harder to commit to these team fights because Teddy is not online as a champion just yet. They're very split. Notice Teddy on the backline, not dealing any damage right now, trying to land a couple of pokes with his Q, but Uzi is just tearing through the front line.
And then Faker looks to try and clean up this fight, but Uzi going untargetable buys just enough time for them to dump a bunch of damage onto Faker. Gonna watch Faker once again with this great finish and escape.
But also notice how Faker flashed to avoid the bubble from Xiaohu, which then landed onto his AD carry, shutting him out of the fight. So Faker ends up being the only one to survive, sidestepping everything. The cool, calm demeanor of Faker allows him to walk away nonchalantly. No problems here.
Honestly, like, the rest of this, he's really just running away at max speed, but something about Faker makes me like, wow! Run in the straight line! But he did so many dodges before that, and then you can also see, like, Longxing, Karsa, they thought they'd have a kill. They know, like, they have enough experience to know that. One thing I really have to point out about that fight, though, is how huge it is that Clid stole it away, and how it all could have been avoided. Mordekaiser, if he moves up closer to Gragas, can just throw him into the Death Realm, and then Drake is unsmiteable. So the fact that that didn't happen, I think, keeps SKT in this game.
I think it's also important to recognize that SKT, even though their comp is probably not best designed for fighting in a situation like that, especially given that they haven't hit their big power windows, given that Teddy has not finished his Trinity Force yet, they needed to because of how important that Infernal was. And by securing it, the loss ultimately still ends up paying off for SKT.
Well, I have an interesting stat for you guys now that we've just crested the 20-minute mark, and after that last fight, Uzi is now up to 3 kills. In the LPL, when Uzi has 3 or more kills, out of 31 games, they won 27 of those.
Oh.
That's 87% of a win rate. When he has less than 3, they only win 33% of the games. Uzi is at that critical point of 3 kills where that's enough money, and Mr. Uzi's coming online.
But did you know, Captain Flowers, that of the 15 games that RNG and SKT have played against each other, RNG have only won 5. So which will be the greatest? So which stat will be greater on the day? RNG.
Well, SKT wants to fight this.
Here we go.
RNG nice cast. Uzi's gonna be in some trouble. He's the first one dead. Clint's trying to get himself away. Longxing is in the